Hi, this is Colleen from Keeping the Peace Defensive Handgun Trading for Women in Central Kentucky. And today I wanted to talk to you about some issues that women face when they go to the shooting range. There are some distractions that ladies have when they go to shoot that men don't have to worry about. And I'd like to go through some of those with you and give you some ideas of ways that you can remedy those distractions. Because you want to make your time at the range as beneficial as you can. So why deal with distractions that you don't have to? So we'll sort of start at the top of the body and work our way down. Starting with the head, one of the biggest distractions that I see on a daily basis when I go to the range is hair. Women are distracted by their hair when they go to the range. There are a lot of ladies that spend a lot of time and money taking care of their hair and making it look a certain way. They have hairstyles that they like to upkeep. As you can tell, I don't really do that. I pretty much wash it and whatever happens, happens. But I do understand why a woman would be concerned about the way her hair looks. She wants it to look the same when she goes back out into the world as it does when she comes into the range. And that's a little difficult if you're using earmuff style protection of the ears, which is what they generally offer at the range for like free use if you don't have your own hearing protection. Also, another hair distraction, not only what it looks like, but in most ranges, indoor ranges anyway, where you have airflow, there's going to be little hairs kind of flying this way while you're trying to concentrate on your sight picture. You have these little flyaway hairs that are flying into the face, and it's distracting. So a way to remedy that situation, if you're worried about hairstyle, maintenance of hairstyle, instead of the muffs, try plugs. Plugs, of course, I'm not going to offer for free, but if you go to the earplugsuperstore.com, I think is what it's called. I'll link it at the end of the video. But there are really cheap earplugs. They're like $3 a pair or something like that. 27 decibel protection, made by Max, M-A-C-K-S, and I believe they're called shooter's plugs, ear seals. I use them all the time. They work very well. I can shoot high-powered rifles and they work fine. I don't need muffs on top of them. In fact, I feel like they protect my ears better than most muffs that I've tried. So that might be an option. That way you don't have to worry about something making a dent in your hairdo. A hat solves the problem of the hairs that are flying forward while you're trying to shoot. It'll keep those hairs out of your face. Also, it serves the additional purpose of keeping the brass out of your face, because the brass is going to be deflecting off of the walls beside you in the range, and that's a distraction in itself. But if you have to worry about them getting between your glasses and your face, which I've had that happen before and it hurts, that's not a good situation. So a hat will solve that problem. So that's it with the hair. The next thing I see that are a distraction to ladies are their hands. I know this seems really strange, but there's a huge problem with shooting grip that happens because of fingernails and rings, and then we'll go into another cause of it. But the first one is the fingernails. If fingernails are long and sharp, or if you have like a really fancy manicure, not only are you worried about messing up your polish when you're loading magazines and rifling slides, but they actually dig. I'm going to just kind of show you what I'm talking about. Okay, clear chamber, nothing in the mag well. When I take this gun and go shoot and I have a sharp ring or fingernails, it causes me a problem. Actually, I'm going to come over this way to show you the fingernail problem. If I have long fingernails on this hand, which is my shooting hand, my dominant hand, they're going to dig into the meat of my support hand as I take my grip. And every time I take a shot, when recoil happens, those fingernails are going to dig in, and I'm going to have that kind of gut response of let go, regrip, let go, regrip. And I see men do this too, but more so I see it in women, especially with small plastic pistols that have a lot of muzzle flip tendency, like the small Glocks, the 26s, the 27s, and the XD subcompacts. I see it a lot with those. Not so much the bigger, heavier guns, but the more you're feeling that recoil, the more you have that dig-in response, and then you want to let go. So the regripping problem. I see this a lot. Not only at my own range, but I see it on YouTube. I just see this a lot. And if you're doing this after every shot, not only do you not have full control over your weapon, but you also have a delay in follow-through. Your follow-up shots are going to take longer to acquire if you're getting a new grip every single time. Not only is it caused by fingernails, but the sharp rings on the dominant hand dig into the support hand. So you have the same thing. You're responding to being poked every time recoil happens. I'm wearing an example of a sharp ring. I love this ring. And I bought this before I became a carrier of handguns. I love it. I still wear it every now and then, but not often, because I shoot with it and it hurts. And if it hurts, it's going to be a distraction to me in a real life scenario where I might have to pull my gun for self-defense. And I do not want to be distracted by anything else in a situation like that. There's going to be enough distractions to deal with. Another thing that I see that causes this regrip problem is a tendency for people to grip their gun with the dominant hand thumb low, and then they'll put the support hand on top of that. This is something that I see fairly commonly, and as you can see, there's going to be a gigantic air pocket between my support hand and the gun. There's no way that I can get contact between my support hand and the grip panels of my gun if I have this thumb low. A lot of people that don't have a manual safety don't really worry about operation of the safety, so they think, well, what's the big deal? I'll just put my thumb down here. But this is going to cause you problems with that regripping tendency, because the gun is going to travel in the path of least resistance, which is going to be toward the support hand, so you're going to have a sideward movement. If you notice that you're shooting to the left, that might be part of it too. That might be why you're doing that. But if you can just lift that thumb up and get good physical contact between your support hand and your gun, that's going to help solve that regripping problem. So just food for thought there. Moving down, that takes care of our hands and our hair. Next would be the shirt. I see an awful lot of ladies go to the range with really low cut shirts. I know they're trying to look cute, but just not a wise decision for going to the range. There are obvious reasons for that. But to me, it's a huge safety hazard, because if I have hot brass in a delicate area of my body, am I going to be cognizant of safety, table the gun or holster the gun before I deal with that hot brass situation? A whole lot of what I see is not safe, because your immediate reaction is to try to get that out of there. And what are you doing with your muzzle? Where's your trigger finger? Are you thinking about that? Probably not. So make sure that you wear garments that are appropriate for the range. If you do wear some kind of a low-cut shirt, just throw something in the trunk that you can throw over top of it, you know, button up high, so that you don't have to deal with that. Not only are you not going to hurt yourself, but you're going to keep the people around you safe. And you're not going to be pointing muzzles every which way while you're trying to get rid of that problem. And lastly would be what you wear on your feet. While you're at the range shooting, hopefully you're not going to be standing still. Hopefully you're going to be, you know, practicing moving off the line of attack while you're shooting. Even if you're in a closed range with walls on each side of you, or, you know, like partitions, you still have the ability to move laterally at least a few feet. So you're not going to want any kind of a heeled shoe that could get on a piece of brass and roll you to your tail end on a concrete floor. Also, open-toed shoes and flip-flops are not wise, because remember when we were talking about the brass earlier that's deflecting off the walls? It's going to go somewhere. It's eventually going to go down to the floor. And if you have hot brass between your toes, that's not a good situation. You've also got brass from your neighbors that's rolling underneath the partitions that's coming onto your feet. So you want to wear shoes that you could run and gun in if you need to. Make sure that you choose your garb wisely. Now, most of these things that I just talked about, I'm coming at it from the angle of trying to make your range experience better. But if you're a woman who carries a handgun for self-defense, you should be thinking about these sorts of things on a daily basis as you dress yourself. Because if you're doing this now, you're putting on that gun just like you would put on your pants or your skirt or whatever it is that you wear. And you want to think out what you're wearing. You want to think out, what do I have on my hands? Have I taken care of things that could be a distraction or a pain to me if I were to have to draw the gun? Because I don't want to lose my control over my weapon. Would I be able to take off running if I needed to? Or am I wearing 5-inch heels? I'm not sure there are 5-inch heels, but you kind of get my point. So that's something to think about. You're not going to be necessarily worried about fixing your hair so that, you know, you're not going to have time to throw on earmuffs, so that's not even going to be an issue. But do think about how you take care of your fingernails, what kind of rings that you wear, and what kind of shoes that you're wearing on a daily basis if you carry your gun. these are just some thoughts, things that kind of came to the top of my head. If you can think of other things that you see distracting women, or if you're a woman and things are distracting you and you're wondering, what can I do about this? If you're having trouble with certain things at the range, leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You may think of things that I haven't thought of, but these are just the things that I see on a day-to-day basis with students and with just ladies that are coming to the range just to shoot for fun. So I hope that these were helpful to you. This is Colleen from Keeping the Peace. I hope you're having a great day. God bless.